Hello and welcome to Life is Feudal, Forest Village. Where we last left off, the plan was to basically replace these fields because I don't think they're all that efficient. Now I was just going to replace them. I mean, at the moment these are 11 by 11, so they're big enough for one person. And the plan was to replace them with 12 by 12s. But I've had a slight change of plan. I want to see if I can have a field that two people can look after as opposed to just one. So the idea is, I'm just going to have a quick look. I mean, if I keep it at 12... right, so when we get to about 20, that's slightly at the point... right, it's right at the point actually where we get enough to need 3 people. So I want to just take it back a bit. So I'll take it back to 18 by 12. That way I still need 2 people, but it's not really pushing them to the maximum limit like that would, I think. So I'm just testing here. So I'm going to put that there. Now I need a well because they're going to have to basically water the crops. I mean, it does rain throughout the year, but obviously it's a case of I need to keep them keep them in a situation where they've got enough water that they can deal with situations when there isn't enough rain. Fields. I want to put another field in for now. I'm not going to actually have them build it, but it's just so I can mark things out. So I'll do another one to. Ooh, that's good. That's really good. It just saves me doing any more of this. Terraforming here. So that one. Now what about there? So presumably that will fit as well then. Okay, so now hopefully those 4 fields can cope with the one well. If not, if I need more water, if they start running out of water, I'll get another well put in there. But I also need some scarecrows, so that almost covers the entire area. Almost, just not quite. Yeah, just not quite. It'll be the same with that as well, so... yeah, it's a pity that. Now I don't want them to actually necessarily build these, I want them to focus on what we need right now, and what we need right now is to replace these 2 fields with 1 field. So I'll still have 2 people harvesting and sowing in this 1 field here. There are other things going on. I mean, we're building a barn down here to make it more efficient for the fishermen. We're building a little shack down there as well, so they've got somewhere to live. Just noticed I think I need a footpath for the stone mine there, so let's pop that there. Now then, at the moment when these farmers are going to be gathering everything, they'll take everything to the nearest barn, so I want to put another barn on the other side. So that's the barn, so that's it's just not quite big enough. Right, okay, so we'll take that road out. I'll ask them to take that out. All of that. We don't need that. Or that. And we'll set them going. Because at the moment what's happening, we're into... right, well, we're into the late summer. Now where we're at here is these 2 farmers here. They're actually in the process of harvesting this field. And what's going to happen, I'm not sure why one's quicker than the other, but we'll get to a point where they'll be finished with their farm before we actually get to the season. I think it's somewhere within the fall where we start to see the frost come in, and we actually see some snow as well, and they'll get to a point where you can't harvest anymore. Now this size here, 11 by 11, what's happening is they'll finish this off. They'll have they'll come in during the spring, they'll have sown the seed, they'll have been looking after the place by weeding it and so on, and then we get to this late summer period where they're actually harvesting it, and it's somewhere around this time where they'll be finished. And then what they'll do is they'll actually start sowing the seed again, and they'll get so far through. So to me it's a bit of a waste of time, because I can't remember whether they actually manage to then harvest just a bit more before the actual fall kicks in and, you know, brings the snow down, or whether they don't, you know, manage to get any harvesting done at all. I think they do. I think they get round to doing the second harvest, but it's just not efficient. I'd rather have a field that's basically where they have a lot of more crops, you know, within that field, and they do the sowing and the harvesting for just, you know, just once. That's it. It's just it's one straightforward process they have to go through there, rather than trying to repeat it again. So that's the reason why I want a slightly bigger farm that can handle 2 people. But we'll have to see. I mean, I know there's there are websites out there where people have done this to, like, you know, to death basically. They've really gone and they've tested everything, you know, in its entirety, just to make sure what exactly is the right size field to have, you know, what's the most efficient for the different crop types, the different trees and so on. But I don't want to do that myself. For this playthrough I want to have a bit of a feel for myself and see what we can get out of it. So the plan is this one's going to be a potato field which will replace these 2. So hopefully by the time we get to spring this one will have been built. Then I can transfer the farmers over to here, get rid of these 2, and then I've got to think of what else to put in its place. Because one thing I definitely want is a port, because at some point we need to start getting things like donkeys, we need to start getting sheep, for instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the port, I think I'll put the port about here. I mean, no particular reason, it just seems an interesting place to put it. So I'll put a little road running there, just line it up. Now we don't have enough, I think it's hay that we need, or yeah, so I need tons of hay, which I don't have. I need a lot more hay. So for now I can get them to go out and gather it, but I think once this little shack is built we'll have more people. I can start bringing another potato field on stream to cope with the extra demand of people, and then I can start looking at making, you know, fields for hay. But I'm quite keen to really get this going as soon as I can, because then, as I say, I mean, like, the good thing about the sheep, by having sheep we'll be able to get the wool, and then we can start making the better clothes for the winter. But we can also get donkeys, and then we can start doing like transports between the different you know, the barns, the warehouses, and make this whole thing a lot more efficient. So instead of, say, somebody over here coming all the way down here for the fish, I might be able to get, you know, some of it transported across to there, some of the vegetables transported down here for the fishermen who are living here, for instance. Right, so these are all going through their little process anyway of, you know, building things, taking the roads away, because I'm just going to run the road down there so I can put a barn in. I'll also have to put a warehouse in so that these 2 mines here, they can just take their produce straight to here rather than going all the way over there. That'll make that a bit more efficient. I'm not sure, I mean, how much is it for a warehouse? No, that's not too bad. I think I might actually put that there. I think that's about where we want one. Just let him dump his stuff there. I mean, at some point, I mean, it doesn't cost that much resources, and then once the mine's finished, I'll just get rid of both of them anyway. But anyway, I'm just going to pause this off because it's going to take a while. I mean, I'll speed it up a bit, but there's nothing I want to do just yet. I'm more concerned about getting the food sorted out. I mean, we've got quite a lot of vegetables, partly because of there's a gatherer out here. Yep, and also because of these fields. But you can see we're getting towards early fall, and they've almost finished, so they're going to start reseeding this pretty soon, but then, you know, the winter's going to come along. Well, I don't think you actually get to the winter as such. I think they get to like late fall when they start giving up, basically. So at this stage, to me, it's been a bit of a waste, but we'll see. So I'm just going to pause the video there, and then I'll bring you back once we've made some more progress. Okay then, so we've now got our field built. A little builder over here. This is Dominic. I think he's finished. Yeah, he's finished the well, and he's just working on the scarecrow there. Now, what's interesting is these fields have now been sown, so we're into the fall. So the fields have now been sown, but they're out of season basically, which is bad. As soon as we get to late fall, I think that's when we start to get the snow. I'm still not 100% certain whether they'll start harvesting them, but you can see at the moment they're just basically looking after them. They're just looking after the fields, and to me we're at the point where they've already harvested it once over the year, and they're now trying to sow for a second set of crops, and it's just not that. I don't think it's worth it. So hopefully, two of them should be able to clear this in one go, and I want to try and get it as close to the end of the season as possible, really, because to me it just doesn't seem any point trying, you know, to try to grow a second set of crops. I've unpaused this field and this scarecrow so that we can start bringing this online, because we've got enough for 28. Well, we've got 28 people. This little shack's now come on stream, so that's added an extra 3 to the capacity. So I want to be able to see how far I can go with like 2 fields if possible, because as soon as actually it looks like one of these has already come into the workforce, yeah, because we've now got 3 labourers. So I want to be able to see if I can bring another, say, like 2 people in here, so we get 2 sets of potato fields going, and just see how much food we can generate before I start introducing more people into the populace. So the little road down there has been cleared out, and I've winded out around here, so I've got our barn's going to get built, then we'll have our warehouse will be built. Just trying to think. So they've started bringing resources around for the port. There's not enough hay, so I'm going to have to start looking for hay. We've got an iron mine, so at least we'll be able to get that. We've also got a stone mine, and I've got 2 people working on stone, so I should be able to meet that requirement. It's just a case of finding the hay. If need be, I can always, you know, just turn a field into a hay, you know, for growing grass, basically. But that's about it for now. I want to see all these lot come into play first before I go any further. But I'm going to have a bit of a look around and see if I can find any hay. Now, there's only about 3 labourers that I've got at the moment. Still nothing showing as idle, interestingly enough. But well, so far so good. This house is currently paused off, and the idea will be to bring that on stream once I've got the 2 fields going. I think that's probably the safest bet. So I'm just going to pause the video there, and then I'll bring you back once I've got some more to show you. Okay then, so what I've done is I've brought this field online now, but it's early winter, so it's not going to get used yet, and that's set up for potatoes. I've done the same with this one as well. The idea is to replace these 2 with that one. Now, what happened was we got into sort of like late fall, where these 2 fields were still being looked after. They were still being weeded, they were still being watered, but then right up to that end point the snow came down, so they didn't really get to the point where they could actually harvest a second set of crops. So basically all we've had is we had 1 set of crops out of this field, and then to try to grow a second set, and then they just couldn't do it. There just wasn't enough time left in the year. So yeah, they're not that very efficient, so hopefully we'll get some better results here. Now, what we've got is, I've got some instructions out here for people to go gather hay, any hay they find on the ground. So because the farmers aren't doing anything, they've gone out to help. Looks like the builder's now finished the scarecrow there and there. Yeah, so that's ready. So we're not that far off the. Hopefully, I've got enough to get enough hay there. So they're out going out and about over here and down here. So it's just a matter of getting enough resources to build that out. I've still got these 2 fields on pause. We're going to need some hay for the barn and for the warehouse there as well. But hopefully, once we get into spring, we should then start to see this field take off. And because we've now got 4 people on board as labourers, I mean, there's only 1 teenager still in school. I'm going to take 2 of them out, and I'm going to put them into the fields as well. They'll still collect things at the moment because, well, basically they can't do anything in the fields yet anyway. But as soon as the spring starts, it should get started straight away in these 2, and we'll start getting a lot more potatoes. We've got how much? We've got about 4,500 food at the moment. So hopefully that should keep us going. It should pick up quite a lot with 2 fields, and then I'll be able to bring this back on stream because that's been maxed out now. We've got the maximum of 6 people can live in here. There was no plans to take this above the 10 limit on there, but with a lot more people we should start making a lot more progress. So the real focus is hopefully to get this built, and then we can start looking into these are the fields as well, probably bringing those on because we need more people. But it's going to take a while, so I'm just going to pause the video there and then I'll bring you back once we're ready. Okay, so we're into the spring now, and our 2 fields are starting to get seeded. I brought this one back on as an actual flax farm because we're actually running out of flax. We're using up a lot more than I remembered. I mean, I haven't had a flax field running for a while, I don't think. So I had quite a bit in reserve, and we've only got so many clothes left at the moment. So I thought, well, rather than getting rid of these fields straight away, I'm just going to bring this one back on as a flax field. We had enough labourers available, so we're now down to just 2 labourers. Now, that's interesting. So now we've now got somebody who hasn't got anything to do. So what I did is they managed to collect quite a lot of hay. So we've got enough hay to fill this need. Managed to get enough for there, enough for there. There was an order out here I put out to get more hay, but we're really in need of more things like more stone and iron. So I sent them out to get more iron out here. Looks like they finished both of those orders off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some more stone because I'm getting warnings saying the tool reserves are running low and the stove fuel reserves are running low. Now he's saying he's got nothing to do, which is interesting because there's no resources for production. Right, okay, so I think that's the bigger problem at the moment is going to be I need more stone. I mean, I've got a mine, but I'd rather have these people doing something because while we're in the spring, it's a bit better because I don't have to worry about them like freezing to death while they're out here. I'll get them together as much stone and iron ore as I can around the area. I mean, there's only 2 of them, but there's a couple of people who've come on board. I could have sworn I was mining all that already. Now where's this? This is down by that side down there. Okay. Well, may as well get all these while we're here. Stone. Any stone down here? Oh yeah, plenty of stone. Because most of the stone at the moment it's going into to building all these structures that I've got. Yeah, most of the local areas should be pretty much covered by now. There's a bit of stone left there. I mean, there's only 2 people, so it would take. I think it'll probably take them forever to do that on their own. But the main interest is really how these little fields here are doing. Ooh, that's a weird little effect. That see the water. That's a bit weird, that, because it's slightly below level. You can see, so you can see where the sea is coming up over here. Look at that. I hope that's not going to come back and bite me. Oh no. Oh, Struth. Maybe I should have built it a bit higher. That's bizarre, that. Okay. But anyway, I mean, these two are out and about. So what are you guys up to? So you guys and gals, I should say. There's one of each. What are the odds? So they're currently still seeding, so we're into spring at the moment. Morgan there, she's doing the flax. Now that's pretty fast growing, so that should get done quickly. So we've gone from about 4,500 food to 3,800, so we've lost quite a bit of food and we're into spring. And it's going to take quite a while before these actually start producing any food anyway. That's a downside of making them bigger, because it's going to take longer for them to get harvested, I'd imagine, but we'll see, we'll see. I think what I might do is build a bit of a wall around here just to keep things a bit safe. I'm not too keen on that. But I'm just going to leave it there. Oh, hang on. Somebody has... Oh no, the tool shop's on fire. Hopefully I shouldn't have the same problems as last time, because we've got water close by now. Almost there. But I'm just going to basically, I'm going to pause that off, because the real thing now is it's getting this port up and running. I mean, it's going to take quite a while, because we need quite a bit of ore and quite a bit of stone still. We need quite a bit of the same over here as well. I mean, we've got all the other bits and bobs. It's the stone and the ore that's the problem. And I've only got 2 people going out there actually gathering it up. I mean, we've still got like an iron miner down here and a couple of stone miners up there, but until these are up and running, I don't really want to go any further, because I'm already pushing them to their limits, specifically because he just doesn't have the stone to make any more tools, for instance. The weaver here is out of flax, so we're on our limit already for clothing. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to keep an eye on the food, because that's what I'm most interested in. But I'm just going to leave it there for the moment. Then I'll bring you back once I've made some progress. Right then, so we're into fall and we're now starting to get the weather warnings. It's quite interesting actually. I don't know what's going on, but this field was almost... I mean, this one was going at a faster rate than this one. Yet somehow these two have still managed to clear out their field quicker than the other two. So, I mean, there's not a great deal left in this one. It's about 105. There's still a reasonable amount of time, so we're not too far off. I mean, maybe like a... I mean, this is an 18 by 12, so maybe a 19 by 12 might have done it. But I'm just going to stick at that size for now, because at least I know it works. I mean, we're going to... Well, I mean, I can probably expect that they'll come back and try and sow more seeds in this one, but again, it's not a great deal of point really, but I'll leave them to it. We've managed to get quite a lot of flax out of this one, and now we're into the second crop already. We've got quite a lot in storage, and we've hit our limit in terms of making clothing. But the toolmaker's still struggling because there's not enough stone going around. So what I've done is I've been cancelling all of the orders that I had in place, because we've now got all of the iron ore, just short on a bit of stone in all of these places really. So I've got instructions out now to gather as much stone as they can get down, that I found down here. There's tons of it down here, so they'll be out and about. There's only 2 of them. I mean, we've now got 2 teenagers have gone into school. There'll be 1 more joining at a short period of time, hopefully. And then what I'm going to do, I mean, we're doing quite well. I mean, these 2 fields have almost completed, so we're getting towards the end of the year with almost 6,000 food. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to bring this one on board, this house here. I'm going to get this started now, and because I think that's enough food to probably sustain that amount of people. I mean, time will tell. I'll have to wait and see how it goes, but it's quite interesting actually watching these people when they're delivering things, because they come down this path here, instead of just like going up and then going and following the road, they're just like, yeah, whatever, and just cut across. So it's quite amusing. It makes me wonder what's the point of building the roads if they're not actually going to use them. But anyway, I mean the key focus up to now has pretty much been the getting this port up and running, because I'm quite pleased. I mean they've almost managed to clear their field out as well. I mean they're back to sowing their one. We're about to probably hit late fall any minute. So it looks like an 18 by 12, but it seems to be hit and miss, because this one is still to be cleared. That one has been, so yeah, it is a bit hit and miss like. So 18 by 12, if I put it up to 19 by 12, there's a potential it could miss out. So I think I'll just leave it at that for now. Other than that, I'm just going to pause the video and then I'll bring you back once this is all built. Well, our port's now fully functional. I've had a look, and to make the actual ship, we're going to need quite a bit of iron. That means we need to make, let's see, what do we need to make that? So we've got the kiln there. So we've got you need to make a kiln for one thing. You need a furnace, I believe. So let's see, the furnace makes cast iron. So yeah, we need the cast iron furnace there. So what I was noticing actually is we were running really short on the firewood, and we did actually lose a few people during the time. There's quite a few people died of hypothermia. There was 2 people actually died of old age. Jeremy, he was one right from the start. I remember him. He's been through quite a lot of things. He ended up somehow in the mine. I mean, I had him doing building and all sorts, and then at some point he somehow ended up becoming a miner. But yeah, we started running out of firewood, so I put an extra person into the lumberjack job. There was a few people like the farmers didn't have anything to do, so I had a task in to do some stone gathering. And then for whatever reason, one of these people had just kind of upped and left and decided to go out and mine the stone instead. So I still had only one person actually creating any firewood for me. And part of the problem, I think, is that all of the wood is being held up here. So of course, I'd imagine these ones down here, they're having to go all the way up here to get the wood, bring it all the way back, and that's why it's been very inefficient. So I actually had it at the point where there was 3 of them doing it. I was chopping down trees. I cancelled all the orders and just left the farmers doing nothing. Fortunately, there was quite a few trees in the area, so I got an order in to chop trees down here, so we ended up with a bit of wood in here. That's all gone now. So anybody who's on this job now will be just wandering backwards and forwards gathering stuff from here. So one thing you can do, you can make it more efficient by upgrading the actual lumberjack. The drawback is, so it's got there's an option there to upgrade it, and it makes it more efficient. The only drawback is when you upgrade something, it takes it out of production. So what I've been doing is I've built a lumberjack down here, because I still want the firewood being stored down here as well, but I've put another one in here just to play it safe. So the idea is now I'll have 2 people, one down here, one down there. I mean, because I was losing people, I had to take 1 person off the farm here, so I don't have anybody doing flax, but I've still got 4 down there. But in any case, I've still got 2 people on the lumberjack role, and what I'll do is I'll get one of them up here and one of them up here. I've also put in some orders to make these little kilns, because they convert the firewood over to charcoal, and the charcoal's a lot more efficient for burning. It lasts a lot longer, and I'm going to need that anyway, as far as I recall, to make the iron. So it's a case we'll wait for this to get done. Now this has now been built, so before I put anybody into use, I'm just going to upgrade it anyway. But it says we need 40 hay, so I'm going to put an order in for some hay, see if we can find any out and about. Probably used up most of it anyway. It's about 9. Guessing about 15. Right, okay, that'll do. So by getting that upgraded, that'll go a lot quicker. I just don't have, at the moment I'm still back to where I was before, where I don't have enough people. We lost three or four people to hypothermia. They were all teenagers, as I recall. Yeah, so there's the stonemason and Jeremy died of old age. Then there was one teenager and 2 children died of hypothermia. It was pretty touch and go because one of the fishermen, they ran out of firewood down here. And one of the fishermen was wandering around for ages, and it wasn't until we even got into spring before they got enough to get themselves heated up again. So that was really frustrating, that. But we've got 156. Our food reserves at about 5574. We're going through the process of harvesting it this all, so we should have enough food still going on. But it's people we need. So this little kiln, it'll convert firewood over to charcoal. The trouble is I've got to be careful because you don't want a situation where I'm going to start creating metal, the iron metal. Whereas it's find the blooming thing again. It's not that one. I think it's that one there, the furnace. So the furnace produces cast iron smelting. So you make one of these. Now that's going to, if memory serves, that's going to actually use that charcoal as well. So you could end up with a situation where you're burning up all of your firewood to create charcoal, which then gets used to make the iron. So I've got to be really, really careful there. But I think what I'll do is I think that one's got an order into, well, it doesn't have an order in to upgrade it yet, but once it's ready, I'll upgrade this one and I'll transfer them across to here. I'll just deconstruct that. We've got quite a bit of iron, so I might put the iron smelter and the in here as opposed to there, because they'll be fairly close to where these are doing charcoal. But I'll put another order in for somebody to make charcoal here, because once we've got the ship up and running, we should be ready to then start the discovery. But for that you start to have to get into the needing pies, if I recall. So in which case we're going to have to start having to make wheat rather, and we'll need a baker. But I mean, that's as far as I want to go for this episode. I mean, the main task was to get our farms up and running, make bigger farms, better farms, and to get our port built as well. Everything else has been built by Dominic. I think that's who the builder is. Yeah, Dominic's our builder. So it's a case of he's pretty much done now, except I think there's a kill. Yeah, you'll have to build these ones here, but they're held back by straw as well. Well, here rather. So that's not too bad. It's a bit disappointing we lost some people to hypothermia. I still don't know why somebody just upped and left here and went out looking for stone. I mean, they could have just at least come up here to get the wood. There's tons and tons of wood. Now that sort of problem, I could deal with that if I can get a donkey. I could get the donkey, you see, to bring everything down here, and that would be a lot easier. That would have resolved that, I would imagine, because I'm just hazarding a guess at the lumberjack here. Thought, well, I can't find any woods. There's nothing for me to do, and he just upped and left. I mean, it seems odd because I've got people down here. I mean, these lot here, if you notice, see what they've got in there. So they've got things like vegetables, for instance. Now, they've actually been going all the way up to here, to this barn here, to pick up fruit and vegetables. So that's quite a bit, that's a really big distance that they've been willing to travel to get their food. So I'm just puzzled as to why, this particular lumberjack who was here couldn't be bothered to trail up here and get some wood. For some reason thought it was better to go out and get stone. So yeah, that was an unfortunate thing to run into, but it's something I'm going to run into probably more if I'm not more careful. I mean, they're now producing more firewood, which is good. As long as I don't build too many things, I'll have plenty of wood to do, to create that firewood. But I'm going to have to be very, very careful that I don't create too much charcoal, that I don't end up with, and then that gets turned into metal, for instance, which means there's nothing left for these people to heat their homes with. So that's another thing I'm going to have to keep my eye out on. But it's also the old age, because we've already lost 2 people. I mean, we've got about 7 children available, but I'm only down to 2. I've still only got 2 labourers, so I don't have enough people yet to be able to take on these tasks, you know, of the kilns. So yeah, so I'll probably have to wait for these lot to grow up so I can start progressing onto there, and then we can start progressing onto the next phase of our metal to make our ship. But anyway, we've got a port, so we're getting there. It's just you know, almost there. We're just going to keep going, and then we'll get our donkey, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. I really want a donkey. But anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed watching the video. If so, then do please leave a like, because that'll help me out a great deal. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more content like this, then yeah, do subscribe. Just remember to click the little bell icon, and then that way you'll get notifications when new content comes out. If you've got any comments, any suggestions, any feedback that you want to leave, please post that in the comments section below. But until next video, thanks very much for watching. Bye!